If you're one of the 5,000 plus migrants and refugees who've arrived into Dover port so far this year, one of the first things you'd have seen is the cruise ship Disney Magic.
اخترت بريطانيا لأنه أنا صديقي أخبرنا من قبل يعني كلمني وقال إنه في قرار في بريطانيا قالته الملكة بريطانيا وطن لمن ليس له وطن يعني.
But as we found out from those who arrived last year, where dreams come true can become the nightmare of asylum limbo. In recent years, the numbers of people claiming asylum are actually down, but this way of getting into the country illegally is becoming more and more popular.
السنة بالأمان وإنه وصلنا يعني الأراضي ونقينا من اللي كنا فيه يعني.
Last year, around 8,500 people came across in this way. This year, it could turn out to be over double that. These men are Sudanese. The gangplank brings them to the Tug Haven facility here on the western docks in Dover. Over the next 24 hours, they'll be arrested under the Immigration Act, their temperature taken, tested for COVID, photographed and fingerprinted. According to an inspection report last year, although this facility is basic, people said they were treated courteously by the staff here. Boatload after boatload are photographed and filmed by journalists and so-called migrant spotters.
Hey, what out? Here we go.
But no one is live streaming what happens next. The group from Sudan were bussed out of Dover a few hours after they arrived, driven 140 miles north to the Yarlswood Detention Centre north of Bedford. So from the English Channel to the other side of those three sets of security fencing behind me and Yarlswood Detention Centre, one of the first things will happen to the men is they will go through a screening interview, which is the first step in their claim for asylum. The men will be here for about 72 hours, most of that time spent sleeping, recovering from the crossing and their time in the camps of Calais.
A lot of hopes tried here, cried, tear, block, no gate. Because of that, I like it some and some I hate.
Last August, we met Mohammed in Calais, a poet from Sudan. He arrived by dinghy in the UK 7 months ago, now being put up in this student accommodation block in North London. That's a big step up from the jungle in Calais.
Yes, it's great to me, yes. But as I told you, survival of the fittest. I was in the tent, you know. I was living in my palace, and now it's my palace. If I'm living in the street, also it's my palace, you know.
Is that right?
How
Is that
do you
how
think?
see it?
How do you think? Not how where you live.
He had an asylum claim rejected in France, came to Britain believing he'd get a more sympathetic hearing. Before the 1st of January, he could, in theory at least, have been returned to France under EU regulations. Post-Brexit, though, that's no longer the case. And that, according to Mohammed, is one of the reasons his claim has been delayed. The longer he has to wait, the more it costs the state. And Mohammed is not comfortable with that.
All these people they are waiting their opportunity, you know, to live a good life, you know. They are not happy to just get food or money and all that. They want to do something, you know, to be like good people in their life, because they were in their countries, but unfortunately, because a lot of reasons like war, like everything, they force it to leave.
Delays processing asylum claims predate Brexit, of course. The backlog of cases has been the Home Office's Gordian knot for years now. The number of people claiming asylum in this country has actually gone down over the past 5 years, with less than 30,000 claims last year. But over the same period, watch this line. It shows that the number of people waiting over a year for an initial decision on their asylum has increased more than tenfold, from just over 2,500 people to well over 30,000 people in 2020.
We've already found several migrants.
The bottleneck is not just causing angst for people who arrived on dinghies. Last year, far-right groups videoed themselves confronting migrants living in hotels. At the time, they also knocked on Allah's hotel room door in Slough. He didn't answer. He's from Yemen, arrived into Dover in July last year, still waiting for his substantive Home Office interview.
أنا هنا من 11 شهر. باقي لي شهر نكمل سنة ومنتظرين للآن غادرنا الهوتيل.
Allah gets room and board, plus £8 a week. There will be people that will say, why are we paying for Allah to be in a hotel?
أنا مش محتاج إنه حد يدفع ولا محتاج لأي حاجة، فهمت؟ أنا منتظر بس القرار تبعي ولا تصريح عمل، فهمت؟ أنا ما جيت هنا علشان انتظر المساعدات من أي أحد، فهمت؟ أنا أستطيع أن أعمل، فهمت؟ أنا أستطيع أن أشتغل وأصلح وضعي بنفسي، مش محتاج من أي أحد. بس اللهم إنه مش أخالف القانون هنا، لأنه
There are around 60,000 asylum seekers in various types of supported accommodation. People like Allah in hotels or hostels often get what's called Section 98 support. It's meant to be short-term, but the number of people receiving it has also risen dramatically, from under 2,000 in 2015 to over 10,000 in 2020. There's universal acknowledgement, even at the Home Office, that the system is broken. The pandemic has understandably exacerbated the dysfunction. A spokesperson told us that the Home Secretary's new plan for immigration will clear outstanding cases and speed up decision-making. But every boat and every person arriving this year will test that claim to the nth degree.